Hey everyone, this is Jane with Barlow Herbal, and happy Sunday, August 7th of 2022. I have a great message for you today about some of the signs that might indicate that you have a growth mindset as compared to a fixed mindset. So first, let's just describe someone who has a fixed mindset. And this might be you in the present, it might be you in the past, and it might be you continuing going forward. But let's define this. A fixed mindset is someone who thinks that the person they are now is going to be the person they will always be, the person always in the future. They don't have the imagination to see themselves in a different place, whether that's relationship, financially, health-wise. Someone that's in a fixed mindset cannot imagine a different future for themselves. They tend to have a bit of a fragile ego, and they are afraid to fail. So compare that to a person who has a growth mindset, someone who is absolutely the opposite and is not afraid to fail. In fact, people that I've known that are in a complete growth mindset and have been almost their entire life, and sometimes when they jump into it as an adult, no matter where they are, they actually seek out failure because that's how we get better and that's how we learn. So that's the main difference. So I wrote down a few things that might be signs that you have a growth mindset. And this is just awesome tips that can help maybe point you in that direction if you want to have a growth mindset. So the number one thing that I wrote down here is that you are willing to admit that you are or might be wrong. And you could possibly change your mind about something. Now this one is number one for a reason, because think about how hard it is for us as these fragile ego humans to admit that we might be wrong. And to me, that's like the more you do it, the easier it gets. If you say, I never looked at it that way. I never thought about it that way. And then you basically admit, oh yeah, I can see how I was wrong about that. The more you do it, the easier it gets. So that's number one. Number two is that you can truly listen to the ideas and thoughts of others without getting worked up. That's powerful, right? And I actually wrote down, I have 7 here, and I actually only have 6 because when I went back and read number 7 after I thought these out, number 7 is the same thing. Practice not being offended by the opinions of others. So that's exactly the same thing. Someone has an opinion, it's their opinion. It's their reality. It might even be not only the truth for them, it might even be something that could be truthful for you or feels right in the moment. So I think that when we are willing to listen, and hello, there's that big word, right? Most of us are so busy jumping in with our own story and having our own opinions that we're not really to actually listen to the ideas, the thoughts, and the opinions of others without getting worked up or without being offended. You know, that one is, I think, super powerful. Number 3, you are willing to release old belief systems. Now, to me, this is the biggest one because there are things that we hold dear, that we are born into, and the big ones are religion, culture, and maybe even the medical system, the way we take care of our health. You know, the way I grew up with natural medicine. My dad and mom were getting us chiropractic adjustments as babies. You know, this is normal for me. We were getting iridology, we were getting reflexology, we were having acupuncture and, you know, chiropractic adjustments all throughout our life. And there were herbs everywhere. And, you know, so that was normal for me. And I will tell you, it is and has been very, very difficult for me to even think that I need to step in and do something in the medical industry. I actually have a kind of a healthy fear around that. And I do believe that the medical industry does a lot of good and there's a lot of good people in it. So it can go along both ways. I mean, in trauma care, we shine. We shine so much in trauma care. And a prescription drug might save your life. You know, there's so many reasons to not only stay open-minded, but to really look at the belief systems that we're born with that maybe no longer serve us. And it's not like you have to completely ditch your religion, completely ditch your culture, but be open-minded to the things that are in your life that keep you maybe in a stuck place. And that right there might take a little bit of opening your mind and saying, am I stuck? Am I stuck in this belief system that makes me not open, maybe makes you just not open to other people's opinions, or open to listening, or opening to just pure love and releasing everything when you start to see the bigger picture. So that one is number two, or number three. Number four is, it's a very simple statement. This one is you stay. So if you assign you have a growth mindset, is that you stay absolutely open-minded. Now I kind of touched on that already, but think about that. You stay absolutely open-minded. I have a few friends that I've had for a long time that I consider part of my tribe. And sometimes when we chat and we talk about things, we talk about deep things, we talk about world events, we talk about things that are happening, things that are important to us, and it's very much a lively back and forth. And I will tell you, I have this one friend in particular. It's so fun to have a conversation with him because I might say something that I know he kind of believes differently, and he will literally, his demeanor changes a little bit as he's contemplating what I'm saying and my opinion and my beliefs. And before he just jumps in and tries to just smash it to smithereens, he comes back with a thoughtful response, or he lets me keep talking, and he'll even ask me questions uh, so that he can get a fuller understanding of what I'm saying. So it's not even that he'll eventually agree with me or he'll even disagree with me. This is the idea of being absolutely open-minded, which it's such a beautiful thing, and it actually makes life so much funner. Okay, so number five, you learn, a side of a growth mindset is you learn to tune into your intuition, and then you trust it. You go with it and you don't second guess it. So this is something, if you think about it, it's been hammered out of us to not trust our gut. Look at reality, look at the facts. It's like, don't think of that woo-woo stuff. Whatever your gut says, that's probably wrong. So here's the thing. What I've discovered as a person who uses my gut instinct and who was actually raised with that type of belief system of mindset, it's very strong and dialed in at this point. And if there's a little hint of to do that doesn't quite feel right, and it doesn't matter what it is, even if it's like, I should take the back roads instead of the freeway if I'm going somewhere. I will follow that. And I don't have to go, well, what happened? What happened? Did something happen over there that I missed? That doesn't even matter. Once I've followed my intuition and I make a decision based on that, I don't ever second guess it. I trust it completely. And I think that if we can start to do this with little things and really um, take a moment before we jump into a decision, unless it's something that requires massive, fast action, we usually have the luxury of saying, okay, how do I feel about this? Here's all this research I've done, here's the due diligence, or here's the contents of the situation. Now, how do I feel? And I think this shows true growth mindset, because this opens up the world of possibilities, because you could take one path or another path on every decision you have to make, and listening to your gut, trusting your intuition, can take you on places that there might be a lot of pain that you're missing, which I think that's been true in my case over and over and over and over again. So listen to your gut, learn to trust that. Total growth mindset. So here's the last one. This one is definitely in my wheelhouse. This is growth mindset versus fixed mindset when it comes to using herbal and natural medicine. From what I see, some are not willing to do the research, have the confidence, and trust our body's ability to heal. There's a huge fear around getting off of the prescription drugs, and the programming is so deep. It's so deep that we think this is the only way. This is the only way. Like, say someone gets put on a prescription drug and the doctor says, you need to take this and you'll be on it for the rest of your life. So first of all, think about, like, that is some deep programming, because I've seen what people would consider miracles when it comes to using natural medicine and getting off their prescription drugs. I don't think it's something you can just say, okay, give me that and I'll just get off of this. I think you need to use your common sense. You need to use your smarts. You need to work with, especially if you're on some things that have some nasty side effects, or there might be some kind of harsh side effects by getting off of them. You need to be smart. Get with your doctor, get with a functional medicine doctor, find someone who's going to guide you along that journey. But I think what's happened, along with having our intuition and gut feeling hammered out of us, we are programmed to think that our body breaks down as we age, and there's nothing we can do about it. And if you have a growth mindset, you are willing to open your mind to the possibilities, and you're willing to maybe make some mistakes along the way. And I'm not saying put your life in danger. I would never say that. I would even think that. I would say have confidence, do research, be willing to step outside of your comfort zone. And I think that when you do that, the world could explode into these absolutely, utterly amazing, transformational moments for you. Now, I really believe that these last 2.5 years in particular have, possibly red-pilled a lot of people into a great awakening. And, that's a reference to the Matrix, where you take the red pill or you take the blue pill. Take the red pill, you're now open to the realities of the world. And I think that every day, what I see and the people that I talk to, and I am so blessed to talk to a wide range of people on a really regular basis. There are people that tell me all the time, oh, wow, I thought things were this way, and I can now see that they're this way. And this is one of those little things. It's like, maybe I was wrong about this. And you don't have to, if you can release your ego and release a fragile ego, that is a big statement, and that is also a tall order. I know, for a lot of us, because we have egos for a reason. We have egos that, keep us functioning in this world, in this 3D world. This keeps us functioning. But the world is a beautiful place. And from what I see, the amount of people who have a growth mindset and the amount of awakening that has been happening is bigger and bigger every day. I only feel this amazing rise in human consciousness. I believe we've been kept stuck for a reason, because of the simple power we have as a collective. We don't have to be stuck in these old systems that keep us stuck. And I would encourage all of you to develop the best growth mindset that you possibly can. Be willing to be open-minded. Be willing to listen to other people. Be willing to say, this section of my belief system no longer works for me. And there might be some pushback from people in your circle, people in your family, and that's okay. That's part of the process. And it doesn't have to be a great big deal. It might be a big deal for people who don't want you to have a growth mindset or a different mindset than theirs. And that's probably going to be the hardest for some people. So if you have any comments about this, I'd love to hear. So in the comments, if you want to comment anything, how about #mindset or even #growth mindset? This is a beautiful time to realize that the collective is awakening, and to be a part of it is brilliant. Yay! Amazing, right? So subscribe if you haven't. The comments always help the algorithms, and that always helps more people find what we do and find these little nuggets of things that might just trigger something in someone. It might be a trigger that maybe is less than positive, but let's hope it's positive and can push us all into more love, more joy, more realization of the power that we have, not just collectively, but individually. We can make our life look like we want it to. So I hope you have a beautiful Sunday. I hope you have a beautiful day, whatever day it is that you're watching this. Thank you so much for watching and being a part of this amazing human family. I love you tons, and we'll see you next time.